We are now going to walk you through a CDO pre-trip. It's a DOT requirement, so everybody is doing it.
Okay, now that the crazy Russian's gone, let's show them how we do it in America. Pop the hood. Okay, first thing we're going to come over here and check is our fluid levels. We've got coolant here. We're looking between the levels are between the add and the fill. So we got coolant, we got power steering, oil. We'll pull dipsticks and add if we need to. We're also checking on the ground for any sort of leaks, any sort of visible fluid on any of the components. We're also going to check our belts here. Come on, get tight in here. Don't be afraid to get dirty. So the center of the belt, we can't have more than 3/4 of an inch of play. We're also looking for cracks, tears, missing belts, anything like that. So next we're going to move on to our air compressor here. This whole unit is our air compressor. It supplies the air to our brake lines. It's securely mounted, no visible damage. Hoses are all connected, no cracks, tears in the hoses. From there we'll go to our whole steering linkage, all the components of that. We have our steering arm here, straight, no damage. Our U-joints here are connected, no cracks. Our steering box here, no leaks. It's what's running all the power steering fluid through it, so nothing coming out of there. Securely mounted. This is a pitman arm. It's secured, mounted, no missing bolts. Drag link here, this long arm. No damage. It's held by the cotter pin and castle nut here and here. Basically, that all these components that are going to actually get the wheels to move are all connected, and there's no damage. There's a tie rod here that ties this whole wheel with the other wheel so that they turn in unison. That's this bar here. So again, connected, no damage. From there we'll go to our shock absorber, securely mounted, no missing bolts, no leaks, anything like that. Our springs here, our leaf spring, again securely mounted, no missing leaves, not in danger of hitting the tire, no cracks, brakes. Our U-joint, our U-bolts here are connected. The spring hasn't shifted, the U-bolts haven't shifted, everything's tight, secure. From there we'll do, let's see here, we can talk about our brakes here. We're checking the angle. This whole unit here is a slack adjuster. We're checking the angle of the slack adjuster, which has to be greater than a 90°. Also, no more than 1 inch of play in and out when the brakes are released inside the cab. You got your brake canister here, properly secured, no audible leaks of any air coming out, no damage. Your lines are secure, no cracks, frays, that sort of thing. Up here on the other side, we'll check our alternator. Come on over. Watch your head now. Alternator secure. Anything electrical, we're looking for scorch marks on any of the wires. Any sort of cracks or exposed wires, so everything's good here. That's pretty much all we're going to check on this side of the truck. So we'll come back over here. We can check our rims here. No missing lug nuts. These are lug nut caps, but we still got our lug nuts which hold the wheel on underneath. No cracks, damage, flat spots in any of the rims.
No welds.
No welds. Was that a Russian accent I heard? No welds. Our tires here, we have 4/32 tread depth in the front steering tires. Every other tire behind those, 2/32 of an inch. On the tires, no bulges, no cuts in the sidewalls, properly inflated. Just overall, an important part of it. So we get a lot of flats.
You can use pressure gauge or a bar to hit tire to check pressure.
Yeah, the Russian's right. You can use a pressure gauge or a mallet or something to know that you do have air in those tires. We got our hub and axle seal here, hydraulic fluid in there. So we're checking all along the seal and the bolts, no missing bolts, no leaks.
Brian, how do you know if it has proper amount of fuel, fluid in it?
You would look between the add and the fill line. Move on to our mirror, securely mounted, door open and closes, fuel tank, a couple different ones on this. You're looking for any sort of shiny marks on these straps or on the tank themselves, which would indicate that the fuel tank is rotating or shifting when you're driving. You're looking underneath, make sure there's no dents or damage, no leaks, and that your cap is properly secured. So we're kind of just working our way back down through the truck. Come on over here. We got our drive line here. It's secured, no damage. Everything looks good there. The frame, so this is the entire frame of the truck, runs all the way up to the very front. It's not twisted. There's no cracks, no illegal welds. All of our mounting, everything that's mounted to it, all the bolts and nuts, everything is nice and tight. Catwalk secured. Our exhaust there, no leaks. Nice and secured, no missing bolts. So we'll talk about the lines. Look over. We have our emergency line here and our service line. We're going to be looking these over for any sort of cracks or any sort of damage like that. Making sure our glide hands, no leaks coming out of here. That's how you're going to disconnect and reconnect the trailers. No leaks here. Our electrical line is this green one. So anything electrical, like on the alternator, no cracks or frays, no scorch marks or anything like that. So now we're going to work back here and talk about how the trailer is actually connected to the tractor. So we'll start with the mounting bolts. These bolts here that mount the platform, which is this piece of metal, onto the frame of the truck. So we're checking to make sure all these bolts are secured, the platform straight, and then we're coming up here that our release arm is in all the way and in the lock position. You don't want to drive off and leave this trailer behind. That our fifth wheel skid plate here, which is this piece of metal, is properly lubricated and there's no gap between it and this is the apron here. No sag in the apron, no damage. Pretty important part of this pre-trip is just making sure that the tractor and trailer are connected properly. We'll move back here. So we're checking everything we did on that front tire and wheel, your whole hub, all your lug nuts, all that as we work back. Our landing gear is under here. Want to make sure that that's in the up position. You don't want to drive around with that hanging down on the ground. All of its supports are secure and straight, no damage there. Mud flaps, properly mounted.
The height requirement on the mud flaps?
Height requirement is no more than, or it has to be a minimum 10 inches off the ground. I think we got a mud flap on order for this one here. That one's missing, but it's the gap from here to the bottom of the ground has to be lower than 10 inches to keep debris from shooting up in the other motorists. So we're checking over our trailer now. All of our support, the frame of the trailer is straight. It's not sagging from the tens of thousands of pounds that these trucks go out with every day. So we just kind of walk by, make sure all our doors work, open and close. Everything's good to go. So as we come back here, we're checking the same stuff that's in the front, the leaf springs underneath. Stuff's a little bit harder to see back here, but in general it's the same concept. You're looking on there, making sure everything's straight, all the suspension stuff. Hub and axle seal back here, not leaking anything. And we'll hop in the cab and take a look at
in the cab. We got some stuff to check here too. We're checking to make sure our mirrors are adjusted to the driver's line of sight. And then we'll turn the key on and make sure all of our gauges work, everything like that. Our defrost works, voltmeter, oil pressure, water temperature, air pressure for the tractor system and the trailer system.
Fuel level, you can see all that here, and make sure everything's kind of where it should be there. Headlights on and off here, on, parking lights off. We're going to make sure that our left turn signal works, our right turn signal, our hazards work, so that everyone that's outside of the truck can see where we're going. And then we got some safety equipment in here. We have our 3 triangles to put down on the road. Over here on my left I have a fresh fire extinguisher. Kind of hard to see there, but there she is. Every truck has those. And then spare fuses. We got David, our 24-hour on-site mechanic. Alright, so now that everything's on, all my gauges are where they're supposed to be, we're going to do a test to check that our air pressure and our brakes are working up to manufacturer specifications. So on average we're going to be sitting at about 120 psi. What we're going to do is turn the truck off so that we're not building any more air pressure, and I'm going to chalk the wheels and tires and release the brakes. So what we're looking for here is a no more than a 3 psi drop in 1 minute of time from when I press each individual tractor protection valve or knob here. So we will get out our phone or our stopwatch and make sure that within a minute we haven't lost more than 3 psi. Okay, so the next test we're going to do is we're going to apply some brake pressure to the brake pedal itself. We're going to fan the pressure down to about 90 psi here, which is about there, and I'm going to apply 50 pounds of force to the brake pedal. And on this test we're looking for no less than a 4 psi drop in 1 minute time. So we're going to sit here and hold the brakes in and make sure that those needles aren't going any lower, which indicate we'd have some sort of air leak somewhere in our entire system that we just went through. So everything's good, 1 minute, good to go. So now we're going to test each individual system, meaning the tractor that we're sitting in has its own brakes and the trailer has its own brakes. So we're going to test them individually to make sure that they're both working. We're going to check the safety light and the buzzer, so that if there is an air leak somewhere in the system while we're driving, we're going to have a warning beforehand. So all I'm going to do is bring our pressure down, and at about 50 psi you'll hear that buzzer, and the light will come on so that I know it's giving me a warning. So you're also going to bring the pressure all the way down to about 20 pounds, and then these knobs are going to release all the air and lock the brakes. This is kind of a worst case scenario if we lose complete pressure. So you're going to be doing this in your pre-trip. You just keep fanning the pressure down. Alright, so we've turned the truck back on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull each knob individually. So first we'll check our our service brake or our trailer brake. So I'm going to pull this knob, I'm going to put it into a lower gear and slowly let off the clutch and make sure we're not moving. So you can feel the brakes engaging on the trailer. So now to test my parking brake here, all I'm going to do is push my trailer brake in and make sure the parking brake is out. So now this is the tractor's brakes. You can do the same thing, just drop it into a low gear, let off the clutch, and you can feel a lot of resistance there. And then the last thing that we're going to do is release the brakes. I'm going to grab a low gear, maybe like third gear. I'm going to drive forward a few feet, and all I'm going to do is push the brake pedal in and make sure that we come to a stop. And as long as the truck's not pulling left or right, we're good to go.
Okay, of course they make me, the Russian, problem with the truck and do all the fucking dirty work. But we're going to take a little bit closer look at our brakes here. So what we're looking for here is that our brake pad is not less than a 1/4 inch thick, and that we don't have any metal on metal contact here, because that would cause sparks and mean our brakes are destroyed essentially. Also, no grease is in here, indicating that brakes need to be changed. So that's it. That finishes up the CDL pre-trip video. I hope you guys liked it. Now it's time for a very cold Coors Light.